So LeBron opted into his $52 million contract, and then came the trade rumors. Rich Paul came out with a statement and said LeBron knows the Lakers are building for the future. He understands that, but he values a realistic chance of winning it all. You thought that they were going to come away with a center. They ended up getting DeAndre Ayton, who was a center. Yeah. But something about this whole process has been peeing you off. Do you care to share with the audience?
Yeah. So I have just been mystified at the combination of misinformation, disingenuous commentary, and almost huffing and puffing from the media, like, oh, I guess we're forced to talk about LeBron again. What the fuck else has happened in free agency? The Kevin Durant trade that all of us knew was coming, that we talked about that was awesome, that was exciting. Other than that, it's been the deadest free agency imaginable. One team had cap space, it was the Nets. They decided to use it just to take other teams' bad contracts. Shams was telling us a month ago this could be the craziest offseason ever. Nothing's happened. Other than the Durant move, the most notable move is Norman Powell getting traded to Miami. Norman Powell, who, by the way, oddly enough, the only time Norman Powell's been discussed on regularly on podcasts and TV shows, aside from ones focused on the Clippers, was a different LeBron James thing when people were like, oh, won't anyone think of Norman Powell and his all-star spot if LeBron knew he wasn't going to play? And so, but I'm listening to and reading folks basically be like, all right, I guess we'll feed the content and engagement monster and have the boring, tired discussion of, could LeBron James be traded? You mean the greatest player of all time? Or, you know what, to not argue with folks, the at worst second greatest player of all time who's never been traded, who is open now potentially to being traded? That's a boring discussion. We'd rather talk about the Pacers losing Miles Turner because they don't want to pay the tax because Halliburton got hurt. That's what we'd rather talk about. Cam Whitmore for 2 second-round picks. Like, what are we doing? This is, and it's not lost on me today, this very moment, is the 15-year anniversary. I didn't know that until I saw an article written about it this morning. Today's the 15-year anniversary of the decision, which means we've had 15 years of enhanced, more round-the-clock, more 12-month-a-year, 365-day NBA transaction interest, from player empowerment to the owners trying to wrestle it back, super teams, homegrown, all of it. It came because LeBron and Maverick put together a TV show and changed the whole paradigm. And 15 years later, he's still one of, if not the most interesting person in the league. And folks who cover the league for a living seem almost resentful that this is a story. So I don't understand that. But that's, I guess, a matter of taste. That's a personal preference, so be it. But then there is what I consider the outright misinformation, might be too strong, especially in today's climate, but just misleading and incorrect, I guess, opinions on LeBron's money and LeBron's value and LeBron's impact on winning. Because here's what I know. Last year, we had an offseason, by the way. We're in the Olympics. They had all the best players in the world came together in Paris to play a basketball tournament. And then they voted on who was the most valuable player in that tournament. and it was LeBron James. Now, I argued you could have gone co-MVPs because LeBron carried the team up until the final, and then Steph was so utterly brilliant in the semifinal and the final. If you wanted to split the baby, so be it. That's fine. But he won the MVP of that. Then this year, we had a whole NBA season. And then the entirety of basketball media voted on awards. And after this season, if your name was not Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jason Tatum, or Donovan Mitchell, basketball media said you were not as valuable as LeBron James. Those are the 5 guys that finished higher in MVP voting. Those are the 5 guys who received more first-team All-NBA votes. That's the entire list. Not Steph, not Kawhi, not Durant, not who's the younger guys that I'm leaving out. Not Cade, not Halliburton in the regular season. He obviously came on huge in the postseason. None of those guys. We had an awards, we had a season, 6th most first team All-NBA votes, 6th in the MVP voting. And the reason I bring that up is then the discussion around LeBron James being the 13th highest paid player was, well, doesn't LeBron understand that a huge impediment to winning is his salary? In what world? In what world is the league's, I don't know, I'll be conservative, 8th best player being the 13th highest paid player an impediment to winning? We just saw the Golden State Warriors trade for and then extend Jimmy Butler. And the narrative surrounding that is that opened Steph's championship window. Jimmy Butler makes more money than LeBron and is worse than LeBron. Say it again. But no, I'm talking about the right now. The right now, because by the way, I would bet LeBron's got as many All-NBA caliber seasons, more All-NBA caliber seasons left in him than Jimmy Butler does. Jimmy Butler's done being an All-NBA player. LeBron was last year. And Steph and LeBron probably have about the same amount of seasons left, give or take. And I'm talking about the here and the now. People thought that the Warriors made a great move giving Jimmy Butler that money. And it's a touch more than LeBron makes, and he's a worse player. Great player, but a worse player. He like in what universe is LeBron James making less than Karl Anthony Towns and the same as Paul George a bad contract? Not a world where he was 2nd team All-NBA and 6th in MVP voting. So there's that piece of it. That if you're the 7th or 8th best player in the sport and you're the 13th highest paid player in the sport, you're on a bargain contract. Then there was this piece of it. Well, if he was really focused on winning, he should have taken less to help the Lakers. And that is a understandable opinion by fans and a just abhorrent job by the media in perpetuating that, because LeBron James, if he had cut his salary, DeMonte, from 50, if he had opted out of the 52 and said, you know what, I'll play for 20. You know how much cap space that opens up for the Los Angeles Lakers? $0. Not a penny. Because they're that far over the cap already. If LeBron James had said, I'll go from $52 million to the league minimum, it would have opened up roughly $10 million in cap space for the Lakers. $10 million bucks. So this idea that the Lakers could have been these major players in free agency if LeBron had simply taken a discount is belied by just the facts. And it's also and we all know this is true, a disingenuous discussion. Because had LeBron, let's say LeBron opted out and said, I'm going to be a free agent. And guess what, guys? I'm going to play for the minimum. The entire conversation would be about stacking the deck, unfair, fake ring, like that. So there was him simply saying, I don't know, I'm the 13th highest paid guy in the league. I'm probably pretty underpaid. And that's even before you consider all of the off-court stuff that I bring to the table. So yeah, I'll just play for my $50 million is more than totally reasonable.
Was there like,
so go ahead.
He have to, but he opted into the contract. Like what would have his other options have been? You know,
he could have opted out and been a free agent. He could have opted out and been a free agent and signed anywhere for literally anywhere for the league minimum and leave $50 million on the table, or a lot of places for the mid-level, which is about $14 million bucks. And the only team that could have signed him for more than $14 million would have been the Nets, which would have made no sense. So those were... Go ahead.
And why did he not do that? Are you saying like because he thought the Lakers were going to do a better job with securing a better center?
Well, I mean, I think that there's... I think it's I don't think there is a perfect solution here for, you know, what they're trying to accomplish, all these things. And I'm a big believer of you can't have everything you want in life. And sometimes like you have to make trade-offs. I'm not sitting here arguing that the Lakers owe him something more than they owe Luka, which is to try to win a damn championship this season. And I'll get to the Lakers piece of it in a minute. I'm not saying that there is a perfect solution for what he's trying to accomplish. What I'm saying is the narrative that a huge impediment to winning is, you know, when you pay a player way more than he's worth, that's going to hurt you. Like the example people use is, you know, Kobe at the end. When LeBron was, according to NBA voters, which I am not, was the 6th best player in the league last year.
Right. So
that part is to me just erroneous. Then there is the, okay, you've made over $1 billion. You want the Lakers to be more competitive, take less money, Dirk style, and give them flexibility. When you look at it, that him taking less money would not have given them any flexibility. And then there is this other part of it, which I mentioned on TV yesterday, and it was the way it was captioned made it seem like more of a shot at Durant than I wanted it to be. But I said what I said, which was, and this is the part to me, DeMonze, that I find no one can explain this to me correctly. Nobody. Who do you think right now, this moment, and there's no wrong answer here, DeMonze, because you might disagree with me. Who do you think right now, this moment, is better, Durant or LeBron? And do you think it's close in either direction?
Offensively, I'd say Kevin Durant. But as far as like initiating,
who's the better player?
The better player, better all around. I'd have to give it to LeBron.
But it's either way, it's pretty close, probably, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like if one guy's the 8th best player in the league, the other guy's the 10th best player in the league, or 9 and 12, or whatever. Right. So despite the age, I think we can agree that LeBron is the more durable player, has been. Like, you know what I mean? LeBron is less likely to miss 30 games with an injury. That's not a matter of opinion. We just know it, okay? So here's what I don't understand. Kevin Durant was available for trade. And the media lost its mind. who should go after him. These are the teams. Durant doesn't want the Minnesota. Should Minnesota trade for him anyway? If you trade for him, do you want to just give him a contract? The Rockets were the 2 seed, gave up their leading scorer, a valuable defender who I don't like in Dylan Brooks, and the 10th pick of the draft. And everyone's reaction was like, what a great job by the Rockets. They might win the title. A guy who at the very least is as good as Durant, and I think a touch better, is available, potentially, and the same media is like, who'd fucking want him? I mean, really, like, it doesn't make any sense. That's what I don't understand. Like, last year, LeBron was better than Steph. They are similar. LeBron's older, but again, like at kind of similar places in their career. Steph's team was in 24 and 25 when they traded for Jimmy Butler. You felt like it made them contenders. They lost to the Timberwolves in 5 in the playoffs. LeBron's team was hanging on to the 3-4 seed. They trade for Luka. You felt like it made them contenders. They lost to the Timberwolves in 5 in the playoffs. That's like they had, after very similar Olympics, very similar seasons, LeBron finished higher in MVP and All-NBA voting, but it was very close, right? If Steph Curry had released a statement like, I don't know about the future of the Warriors, and people thought he might be available, it would be a full stop freak out about what teams should package what things to try to get him. And we just saw it happen with Durant. When last year LeBron was better than both those guys. And the collective reaction is, well, I guess maybe a team or two should make a courtesy call. And a collective eye roll of, I can't believe we're having this discussion. Has everyone lost their mind?